Well, welcome back to more fun talk about technology. We're going to talk about the Internet of Things in this session. This should be kind of an interesting thing. It's something that you may not know too much about. But what we're talking now is, rather than people talking on the internet, we're going to talk about how items talk about each other, talk to each other, I should say. Okay, so the question first is, what is the Internet of Things? Good question. Got a couple. I got a video, and one video I think, on Blackboard that can actually help you with this particular topic, because there's a woman that gives a real short, couple-minute overview of what the Internet of Things is, and she probably does a better job than I would. So you may want to take a look at that video. Anyway, what is it? Okay, here's what it is. It's a network of physical things, physical devices that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies that connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the internet. So let's make sure we're clear on this. This is not people talking to people. This is going to be devices talking to other devices. Okay? Make sure we're clear on that. They're going to be using sensors, they're going to be using software and all that kind of stuff, but they are really one machine talking to another. And we're using, to do this and to make some of these decisions, yes, we're going to be using big data, and we're going to be using artificial intelligence. These devices can range from simple wearables, like a smartwatch, all the way to complex industrial machines. Okay, now let's take a look at the consumer end of this. Quite frankly, the IoT is used by far much more by businesses and manufacturing and industrial entities, much more so than what consumers use. But consumers do use it. Okay? And the main way consumers use it is through a smart TV. Smart TV is simply a TV that's connected to the internet. Okay? But we also use wearable healthcare devices, pet activity trackers, energy efficient lighting solutions, asset tracking for luggage, any valuables you have, connected dash cams, smartware. The list goes on and on and on. Of anything and everything is potentially going to be part of the Internet of Things. Okay, so there we go. So take a look at this circle here. And I want you to see what we're talking about, the idea behind the Internet of Things. Anything, any device, anyone, anybody, any service, any business, any path, any network, any place, anywhere, and any time, in any context. In other words, the idea is that these systems will be up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime. And you can do various things with them. So that's the crux. Now, I'm going to show you a couple. I'm going to go through these slowly but surely. This is the heart and soul of IoT. What I'm going to show you. First thing would be sensors. These collect data from the physical environment, such as temperature, pressure, or motion. Okay. Think of a electric car, for example. Electric car better have a lot of sensors on it. Even my hybrid car has. Let me turn over here. Even my hybrid car has a lot of sensors on it. Why? Well, they collect data from the physical environment, like temperature, pressure, motion, etc., and they got to send it to someplace else, server someplace. Now the devices, in my car, the sensor is going to send it to some device in my car, and these will be embedded with processors and software that these devices then can interpret that data. In other words, they can tell me how far away that car is, and it'll put a little yellow light up saying, "Don't pass, you can't pass yet." Or it's going to give me an emergency signal. The guy in front of you stop. Or if I think I'm running off the road, it's going to tell me they think that I need to rest. These devices are embedded in my car. Okay. And they're going to interpret the sensor data and communicate with other devices as need be. Some of the information they will know, but they will deal with other devices, many of which will be in the cloud, devices in the cloud or other devices nearby. Okay, how do we communicate from this device to a network someplace else? Well, we're going to use gateways. This is a device that acts as a bridge between devices and the devices and the internet, and routing data and ensuring some secure communication. So you see what's going to happen is we'll send the information to a gateway device, which will then connect to the cloud or to a server, depending on how it's programmed. Okay? Now, the cloud platforms are basically servers that are going to store and analyze collected data. And that's going to enable insights and some kind of control. Now, it will send the information back to the gateway, to the device, so that wherever on your car or whatever device you're using, it will then do whatever it needs to do. So, for example, let's say you have a dishwasher, and that dishwasher is connected on the IoT. It's on the Internet of Things. It's conceivable that you'd be sitting there watching TV, and somebody knocks on your door, you go answer the door, it's the repairman, you say, "What are you doing here?" Because he came to repair your dishwasher. It's going to go out in about 10 minutes. So he comes and fixes it. Why does he know that? Because the dishwasher was malfunctioning somehow in telling some device back at the Maytag repair place or wherever it is, that there's going to be a problem. Pretty cool that's going to happen, and that can happen. Okay, and then there are applications. These are the interfaces that allow the users to interact with these connected devices if they need to, and it also to analyze the data they generate. So we see we have sensors, which are key. They're going to be working with devices that are going to be working with the gateways that are going to send information to cloud platforms that are going to be running applications that will do the analysis that we need and give us the answers that we need after it looks at the data. That is how IoT works. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the progression of how we got to IoT. On here, we say we had the pre-internet. This is we didn't have any fancy devices. We didn't have the internet, in fact. We were using AOL, or we were using CompuServe, some of the other devices I talked about. Now, so we had human to human, basically. And then the www era came in, where all the web pages, this is in the 90s, where all the web pages, you had to put that www.louisville.edu. Okay? And we're using it for email, for information exchange, a lot of entertainment, like listening to CDs and DVDs, that kind of thing. Then we moved on to Web 2.0, which came about pretty much after the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. When we started getting smartphones was really Web 2.0. Then we had e-productivity and e-commerce. Now, that means that we were able to sell things and buy things online. That's what e-commerce is all about. Yeah, you see? So, and then we had the social media came along next, the internet of people. And then we had things like Skype and Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And what was different about social media and Web 2.0 was social media was all about you as the consumer creating the content. Didn't do that before. Okay? And now we're at the Internet of Things. This is the machine-to-machine communication. We have identification, tracking, monitoring, metering, and we are able to use various kinds of data, semantically structured or not, unstructured, and shared data. So we're using big data to a large extent when we're doing IoT. It really came about around 2010, so it's been a little more than a decade and a half that it's been around, that we've been talking about it, and it's grown in popularity. At first, it's just a few people talking about it. Now, a lot of people talk about it. So what are some of the benefits that we have of using these things? Well, main thing is increased efficiency. automated tasks and real-time data analysis lead to improved efficiency in various sectors, especially in manufacturing and in agriculture. Those are two areas that are really big. Also convenience. Smart homes, where your home is all wired and you can do all kinds of cool things using your phone to tell your house to do things. Turn on the air conditioner, turn it down, turn it up, turn on the music and change the music and that kind of thing. Okay, you have wearables also that we've talked about before. They provide comfort and control they automate tasks, and they offer personalized experiences. So your wearables will tell you what, you can do health things with your wearable, how many steps that you take today, and what's your blood pressure, that kind of thing. So having more data and this efficiency and convenience also lead to improved decision making, where the data collected by the IoT devices can provide valuable insights, because it's going to add to the big databases we talked about with big data. The big databases are going to get information from your sensors that you're using with your IoT. Okay. And this will help make better decisions because you have more data. The more data you have, the better decision you make. It's true almost anything. And also we can optimize the use of our resources. This is crucial. Think about a farm field. I'm a farmer. I have a farm. Okay. So I'm prejudiced in that area. I have a 100-acre farm. 100-acre field, and I need to plant my soybeans. And so what do? Well, I can use a drone to go over the field to tell me where to plant, and I can use a software program that will actually lay out exactly where I'm going to put all those soybeans. So I'll get the maximum yield out of my field. So I'll get resource optimization. It will also help me when I'm irrigating, exactly the amount of water I need, and I can turn it, and it'll turn off when it gets to the place that it's supposed to. So two very obvious things that you use in farming. Obviously in manufacturing, working on a line, automating tasks, that's the wave of the future, which are actually the wave of the future doing it right now, in fact. Okay, so we're also going to optimize the use of energy and consumption of water and all kinds of good things. Let me just focus a little bit on just for business specifically. You can monitor your overall business processes, and you can improve your customer experience, which is very important. You use IoT for those purposes. You can save time and money. You can enhance employee productivity, integrate and adopt business models, and make better business decisions. These are all business-oriented things. We can talk about consumers, we can talk about business, talk about agriculture, et cetera. So the idea, of course, in any business is to generate more revenue. And with IoT, even though there is an upfront cost, the idea is it's going to pay off in the long run. Take a look at this IoT ecosystem. It consists of web-enabled smart devices using embedded processors, sensors, and communication hardware to collect, send, and act on data they require from their environments. That's the ecosystem, okay? IoT devices share the sensor data they collect by connecting to an IoT gateway or other edge device. And I talked about edge as a fancy type of router, where data is either sent to the cloud to be analyzed, or it can sometimes be analyzed locally by the device that the data is sent to, which would be the case, of course, in your hybrid car or your electric car. That data most of the time is going to be processed and analyzed right there in your car. We're not going to take time to send it to a cloud someplace, you see. It might be too dangerous. So you see, these are the 7 components. We have the users who are going to use the IoT devices that are going to be connected to a network. There's going to be security on that network. There's going to be a gateway on that network so that we can send things to the cloud and run applications. And then we'll start back over again. Those are the 7 components of an IoT ecosystem. Users, IoT devices, sending information via network, and that network is going to be secure so that we can't hack into it. We're going to get to our gateway that's going to send it to the cloud, which is going to use applications. And if we send it to one server to the cloud, we don't have the information, then the answer, it'll send it to another server. till it gets to one that can actually answer the question or the prompt or whatever it is. Okay, look at the revenue projection here. By 2028, $770.52 billion. A lot of money. Wow. Okay. These are just this is just a slide that shows some of the consumer and enterprise IoT applications. Smart buildings, smart homes, smart TV, everything is smart, of course. Smart city, where you can handle traffic patterns and this kind of thing. We talked about how we could use this in healthcare. So the IoT, like if somebody is monitoring your pacemaker, that's using really IoT. I didn't say IoT at the time we talked about it, but that's what it is. So those are some of the applications. And then here's a drawing of some of the Internet of Things. This is this drawing was actually generated by AI. I couldn't get what I wanted, couldn't find what I wanted, so I had AI generate this particular graphic, which says the same thing I just said in the last graphic. Homes and buildings and cities, everybody can be hooked up to the internet, and that's the direction that we're going. Okay, let me stop here for a minute. We'll stop here and give you a break, and then you can come back and see the second part of the talk on the Internet of Things.